Hello, everyone. Welcome to. Okay, good. Now we've got, looks like a clear picture. Let me get on and see if I can see this, see who's on. Oh, good. Let me turn off the volume so you don't get a double dose of me. I am right on time at this minute. I got on here just a little bit early. And we are going to make some cards tonight. Hello, Cynthia. So glad you could join me. I hope all is well in your world. Things are going well here. I'm going to be using the Thankful Garden bundle tonight. I've got some tips and tricks for you. I'm going to make two beautiful cards. So, of course, I'm a little bit prejudiced. I made them. And I wouldn't show them to you if I didn't love them. Hello, Tracy. Welcome. All right. So we've got people popping on, and that's good. Hope everybody had a good day. I actually had a pretty relaxing day. I was up late last night finishing up the prep. Could take a breather today and do some other things that were necessary. So, oh good. I'm glad you're doing great. How does the picture look? Because it looks a little blurry on my laptop. Hopefully, not that I know how to fix it, because I don't. But hopefully you have a nice clear picture and good sound. So let's see. Okay. Let's in the Thankful Garden bundle, this was released on March 4th with the March online exclusives. And this is one of those bundles that not only includes the stamps and the coordinating dies, but it also has stencils so that you can easily color. Interesting, I thought I had them in order, but apparently not. So that you can easily color both of these large floral images. So you can, with a line image, of course, you can watercolor these, you can color with colored pencils, you can color with Stampin' Blends, any medium that you want, you could use those. But if you don't want to spend all that time coloring, then you can color with the stencils. Okay, so we've got those, and we're going to be using those here shortly. So I'm going to try not to put them too far out of my way and not bury them, because I tend to set stuff down on top of my stuff and then I can't find it. Oh, hello, Lynette. Hope you're feeling well. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started. The Thankful Garden stamp set is a photopolymer stamp set. The big images aren't in here, and neither is one of the sentiments, because I've got them out so that we can use them. You get 12 dies in the Thankful Garden dies. These two dies are kind of unique because now the images on the front are shown at 75%. So this large image, you can cut the large image. And then you have this image here, which will cut out this small flower. Okay, so you can do that. And then you've got the large hydrangea, which of course is going to cut out the large hydrangea. And then you have this piece here, which, man, I looked at this and I thought, what am I going to do with that? Well, as it turns out, it cuts these three here. Now, I've done all the guesswork. I've taken all the guesswork out of it for you because I turned this die round and round and round and round, trying to figure out what I was supposed to do with that. But I figured it all out so you don't have to. And I'm going to give you a tip so that you know right where to put that. Okay, and now, of course, now that I took that off, don't want to go back on where I had it. Let's fix that up. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to, you know, I try. Sometimes I try to be simple, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. Well, who am I kidding? If you know me, it never works out. Okay, so this is our color palette and bubble bath. Very pretty. And then we've got, I forgot to get my little card holder. That's okay, I'll just set it right there. It'll be fine. Oh, here's the card holder. Hang on. Let me set that up so I can see my sample. Sorry about that. I forgot to grab that. All right. Got to know what I'm doing, right? There's a lot of steps. Okay. In addition to the stencils from the Thankful Garden, we're also going to be using the Link Together decorative mask. This comes, you can buy these separate, or you can buy these with the Linked Together stamp set, which is a stamp and die bundle too. I mean, you can get just the stamps, just the dies, or the stencils. You can get them all together in a bundle and save 10%. So this is Sentiments Only. It has a die set, which I didn't pull because we aren't using it tonight. So I did use that in some videos a week or so ago, so you could go back and check those out. If you can't find them here on my Facebook channel, be sure to check out the YouTube channel. Then I'm pulling in one of the stamp sets that, if you've watched me at all in the last month, you've really seen this Elements of Text. I love this stamp set. In particular, I really love these two stamp sets, or these two stamps. We're going to be using this one tonight, and this one, and this one. Okay, so the Elements of Text, that is also an online exclusive. And then I'm going back to an oldie but a goodie that's still available. And that's the Wildflower Designs dies. Now this has a coordinating stamp set, which is still available. The Wildflower Designs is no longer offered in a bundle, but this is the stamp set. This also has a nice little background collage thing and some nice sentiments. And then it has these really cool dies here. So we're going to be using those tonight. And I'm going to show you a tip with those that I've done to make those do what I want them to do. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Let's pull out our supplies. And let's not take this too far because I don't want to lose things. And I have some things already cut and ready to go so that you didn't have to watch everything. I didn't want you to have to watch me fussy cut some things. So I'm going to put those aside. And let's see, we need this and we need this. These are our stamping pieces. I've got all of this just for stamping. And this is our inside, and then this is the piece we need to do our stamping on. So let's go ahead and get that out. Okay. So let's start with our background for this card. I'm going to put all these pieces aside and hopefully I don't lose them. Yeah. Okay, let's stick those right up here. Let's stick these back in the envelope. And we're going to focus on this piece for the minute. So we're going to bring in the Wildflower Designs dies. And I took the largest image, this piece right here, and I took a piece of acetate and I cut it out. And that is not it. I know I stuck it in here. Oh my goodness. There it is. Okay. So I cut that out of a piece of acetate, and really what you get is you get this frame piece, and here, let me see. Maybe you can see that a little better. You get this frame piece, then you get a piece of acetate that looks like this, but it curled up so bad I couldn't use it. And then you also get this piece, okay? So we can do lots of cool things with those. but we are going to use this tonight right here. Now you can cut this out of regular cardstock, but I thought, oh, I'm going to cut it out of a piece of acetate that I had laying around. It doesn't have to be, you know, anything fancy. And we're going to use this. You could do this with a piece of cardstock. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a frame. Okay, I'm going to bring in some sticky sheet here. And I'm going to lay this down on my glass mat. And this is going to hold my cardstock so that it doesn't move. Okay. And then I'm going to put my acetate down here and line that up. Okay, so I'm just going to try and make that as even as I can. This cardstock here is not the right size. It is not the right size. But you know what? This might actually work better. I think I did this one 3 3¾ by 5. Yeah, let's do it this way. That was a happy accident. I think I like this. Just like this. It barely fits. Let's do it. Okay, so let's put that down and get it as close as we can. And I'm going to tape that because I don't want that to move. So I'm just going to tape that with cement tape while we put our stuff on. And I'm going to measure this so you know for sure what size it is. It is 3 3/4 by 5. That's what I remembered cutting it at. Unfortunately, the one I originally cut was 4 by 5¼ but I think this is going to work out better anyway. So now we're going to take the boho blue and I'm going to take a blending brush and I'm going to put some ink and start off. Oh, I need to hold this. And I'm going to put some darker ink at the edges here. Just going to go around this irregular shaped hexagon. Okay. Oops. All right. I should have taped that down a little better. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to leave that. Okay. Oh, I don't know why I'm putting this away. We still need the boho blue. Oh, is it in the annual catalog as a bundle on page 41? Thank you, Tracy. Okay. So then we have the link together masks. And I'm going to pull in this mask. And this is mask number 2. There are 5 masks in that set. I'm just going to use number 2. Now you can use them all together. And I've showed you how to do 1, 2, and 3 together. And then I'm just going to take this and I'm going to line it up as best I can and center it. Okay, trying to get the same distance top, bottom, and sides. I'm going to bring in some more tape and tape this down. And let me grab another piece. I don't want anything to move. Okay, so I'm just going to do this. All right, so we're going to take that same boho blue ink and blending brush. And this time, I'm going to go over the whole thing and put in that design right over the top of our mask. Okay. Now remember, we still have that other mask underneath, so we're not going to be inking these corners. Okay. And then let's lift that up. We don't want it to get it too dark. It might be darker than I wanted, but it'll work. And let's lift that up. Yeah, a little darker than I would like, but it looks pretty good. Okay, So we can set that stencil aside. We're done with it. And we can lift this stencil. We're done with it. Okay. And I'm going to pull these off because I'm going to need them for my other stencils. I just keep reusing that mint tape. Okay, so let's put that stencil back out of the way. Now we're done with boho blue, so we can put that aside. And now we're going to work on our flowers while this dries, because I need this. Wait a minute, one second. I need to put some stamp image on here before I move on. Otherwise, I'm not going to have what I want. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way for just a second. Bring in a piece of scrap paper because I'm going to be stamping off. And my desk is going to be a big enough mess. I don't need to be worrying about stamped ink. And I can clean this off because I don't need the boho blue. So I'm going to take my chamois that came with my Glass Mat Studio and wipe off that blue. Okay? And that chamois is wonderful because it doesn't get super wet. You can really wring it out so it doesn't stay wet. Okay, so now we're going to take some, I think I needed basic gray and I don't have it out. I need the basic gray. And I'm going to take one of the stamps from the Elements of Text. And because basic gray is kind of dark, I'm going to stamp once, stamp twice, and then I'm going to stamp this on my image. Okay, it's not coming through much, so once, twice, stamp it on, once, twice, there we go. Okay, so when you see this, it's not really very dark at all, and that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so now I need to set this aside to dry. So I'm going to set that out of the way, and we're going to move on to the next piece, which is our flower. So let's bring back in some of that white cardstock that we set aside, and that's going to be this one here. And we're going to grab our Stamparatus. No, not our Stamparatus. That has the hydrangea on it. Okay, so we've got our stamping platform here. And we are going to set this down. And we're going to stamp this. But we're not going to just stamp it once. We're going to bring back in a smaller piece of white as well. Okay? And we're going to ink this up in basic gray. Give that a good inking. And let's ink that up. Okay. And then, as you can see, I've already stamped that down here on my scrap paper. So now I'm going to take this piece of white, and I need to get these two flowers. So I'm just going to set this where I can get those flowers. Okay. And I'm going to hope that this works on one try. So I'm taking a chance, and I'm not putting tape on it so that it'll stay. Okay, so we're going to ink this up. Okay, beautiful, except that didn't quite, but that's fine. So if it's fine for our purposes, we don't need that section, we're good. And then we're going to take another piece and we're going to put it in here. I just want the small flower this time. Okay, so I'm going to put that in. I'm going to make sure I ink up that small flower really well. I don't care about the rest of the image, just the small flower. Okay. And there, now we have all of our pieces that we need to make our flower. Okay, so we can set that aside for now. And let's set aside our paper. Now let's go ahead and bring this back in. And we will put our design down here. Okay. And then we're going to pull out our masks. Okay. And then I'm going to put some tape down to hold that. Okay. And then I'm going to take a Sharpie pen because I'm working on my glass mat. You could do this with pencil if you're on paper or whatever. And I'm going to draw with my bead. I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to ink a little bit darker around the edges just because that's how I want it. I'm not sure why I'm doing that because this is totally going to get covered up. Okay. But these will be lifted, so just the edges. This is really all I need to do on this is the edges. Okay? On this piece. Now, I'm going to skip the next two because I don't need this. I don't need those flowers colored. Okay? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to move on to number 4. All right. I need to put scratch paper down there. Okay. So we're going to move on to number 4. I'm going to put 1, 2, and 3 down. And we're going to move on to number 4. Okay. And I'm going 4, not 5. Here we go. Now, I've already got those marks in place. So I should be able to easily line that up easily and quickly. And then I just make sure that it looks right before I tape it down. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with soft seafoam. And I'm going to put some ink in here. Try to go a little bit darker around the edges. Where there would be some shadows. You don't have to. It's just another way to add depth to your stencil. Add a little bit in and then go over the whole thing and fill it in. Okay? And I'm going to go back and add just a little bit more around those edges. Okay, now this is finished. So I'm going to lift this up. And I'm going to pull in number 5. And again, I'll lay that down in my marker spot. Make sure it still lines up like it should. Okay. You could just hold this if you felt comfortable doing that. And then I'm going to go back in with a little bit more pressure with the soft seafoam. Okay. I don't want to get crazy. Okay. Now let's see what we have. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so we've got that, and I can set 4 and 5 aside because I'm done with them with this card. And I can put away my soft sea foam. Now, we are going to go back. We're actually going to pull this up because we're done with that. And we're going to bring in this piece. And what did I do with that alcohol? Oh, let's see if this one still works. Because it's my glass mat, I can easily take that Sharpie off of my glass mat with just a simple alcohol wipe. Okay? And this one I actually used yesterday. I took out a new one just in case I needed it. And oh, there it is, right in front of my face, of course, hidden behind the stamp set. And I'm going to put this down. Actually, I'm going to put this one first. This one has the most steps. So let's put this one down. We'll do it first. Let's bring back in stencil number 1. And I only need to line up that little one here. So I'm just going to line this up how I need it. All right. And then I'm going to tape this down so it doesn't move. And I'm going to marker this again. And as you can see, I don't have places to write here, so I'm going to put a mark here, 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 and here. Okay. And that should give me enough orientation to figure that out. Okay, so again, I'm going back to Bubble Bath. This is going to be my main focus on this flower. So I'm going to go a little bit darker on the edges. Okay, than I do in that center part. All right, so that is done. Now I can move to Fresh Freesia. And I'm going to bring in, oh, actually I decided I wasn't using Fresh Freesia on this one. I'm just doing Bubble Bath. Okay, so I'm going to pull that up. And I'm going to bring in stencil number 2. And because I've got that lined up, I should be able to put this in here and have that work relatively easily if I just get everything right there. Okay? That all looks like it's pretty well lined up for me. Okay, then I'm going to go back to that Bubble Bath. I'm actually not using Fresh Freesia. Okay, and then I'm going to add that in. Okay, and finally, we're going to do number 3. Okay, so let's line this back up with our marks. We should be pretty close there. That looks pretty good. And now I'm going to take some Berry Burst. Okay, and I'm going to lightly ink this up. Okay, I don't want this to be too dark. Okay, good with that. Let's see what it looks like. And there is my flower. Okay. Now, this is the single flower that the die works for. So you can bring in the die for this and cut this out with this die. Well, you can because I've done it. Come on. There you go. Just like that. Okay. But for my application, this left a little ring. So I already cut that, fussy cut it. You didn't have to watch me fussy cut it. You're welcome. And now I've got one I can use again. Okay. So we've got that. Now, what are we going to do with these extra 2 flowers? Well, we're going to do the same thing again, but this time we only need to do 2 and 3, okay? So we'll start with 2. Actually, we need to line this up with 1. That's your trick. Line it up with 1. I got to get rid of those marks. You don't need to actually ink 1, because the only piece that, well, I guess maybe, let's see. Let's put this on. We'll just ink it, and then it'll all just be the way it should be. Okay, so we've got this. All right. Tape that down. Tape this down. Put our register marks on again. That's what those are called when I couldn't think of the word. Okay, now I can't do that one because I don't want to write on my mat. So we'll just be using these 3. And we're going to go back to bubble bath. I don't want to get too crazy here. And really, I need to only concentrate in these inner areas. That's it. Okay? Because that's all I'm going to be using. I don't know why I put that away. I need it. Oops. Okay, so let's pull this off again. All right, we'll get number 2. Even if you don't want to use 1, the register marks from 1 really help you line up your image. So do that first, even if it's only to make the register marks. That'll make life easier for you. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, and we'll go back to our, nope, I need the bubble bath. Where did I set that? Right here. Bubble bath. Okay, I hope I didn't use that. Oh, because if I did, I messed it up. Remember, I'm only concentrating in the center here. Okay, so I've got that. And then we'll go to 3. Okay, so I've got that. I'm trying to hurry. This is taking a long time. It'll take up your whole night. The rate I'm going. Okay, so we've got that. Now I'm going to go in with that berry burst and just put a little in the center. Okay. And there we are. Okay. So then for this one, I'm not going to actually do it because I've already done it. All you need to do is go in on this one and cut out these little center pieces right here. This is what you need. This piece and this piece. And when you do that, you get this piece, okay? So that's what we did. We fussy cut that. I put a little bit of Wink Stella on those and on this flower. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. And we can now clean that up and get this out of here. We're going to bring back in our, okay, and this is not quite finished. So we are going to take this should be plenty dry. I'm going to take my embossing buddy. And I'm going to get my Versamark ink. I'm going to take some of these splotchy stamps from the Elements of Text. Let's put that up here out of the way. Oh, let me bring back in that scrap paper. Okay. And I am going to put a little bit of a splotch here. Okay, and then I'm going to take this one, put a little bit of a splotch here. And then we'll go back to this one, put a little bit of a splotch there. Okay, and that is that. Now we'll cover this up. Move this out of the way. Bring in our gold embossing powder. And then just kind of roll that over where we put that inking. And dump this. I just use a coffee filter inside my embossing additions tray and watch the magic happen. I like to heat from the back first and warm the paper, and then I'll bring it to the front and finish melting that powder. And as soon as you see it turn shiny, take your tool away, otherwise you'll burn the powder and then it will go dull again and you won't have nice shiny. Okay, so I didn't get this completely over here in this corner. All right, that all looks pretty, well, no, I got this one right here. Right there. Okay, that should be good. Okay, you can go off now, tool. Okay, so now this is the background for our card. So we can start adding this to our card base. So let's bring back in that card base. And we also have a little sentiment strip here that we need to stamp. So let's take the Thankful for You friend and the basic gray ink. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. The cat decided she wanted it out of the studio and she was just going to sit there and dig at the door. Okay. So let's take our Thankful for You. And we're going to line this up and stamp it. I don't know why I'm lining it up. I'm going to fussy cut it. Okay, so we've got Thankful for You, friend. Set that aside. And then let's start building our flower. Okay? So we have our flower that we did on that big piece of white here, right? And we're going to start, this one I did a little bit more than I needed to. but it's okay. And we're just going to put this. And then we're going to bring in those flowers that we cut. And here's it looks when you cut them out. But of course, you're going to cut all this away. I did this just to show you. And then fussy cut from that. That's what happens when you take glue dots here near the center, like so. And then I'm going to add this. Let's go ahead and make this easy on ourselves. Let's add this to our card base, which is Berry Burst. And this is a standard A2 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the center at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to add this to my card front, making sure you know what, because I made this a little smaller, give me 1 second. I think I'm going to take a piece of bubble bath and add a layer, which was not in the original card design, but because I made that smaller, I now have the opportunity to do that where I didn't before. So let's take this 5 1/4 and cut to 4, and there. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, so if I add this to here and then add this to here, make sure that your words are upright. I can't hardly see those, but that looks like the word spring. There, yeah, I really like that. So I'm going to add this. Okay, and then I'm going to add the bubble bath to the Berry Burst. Okay, and then again, I'm going to make sure my spring is right side up from that text. You can't really read what it says, but there is a word spring in there, and you want that to be right side up. Okay, so we've got that. Now we can build our flower a little bit more easily. So let's take that. Then we're going to take this piece. This is the center of the larger flower. Okay. And we're going to put this on a glue dot. And then we'll attach this to the center here. Okay, and then we're going to take another glue dot. Can't believe how long this card is taking me. You guys, now you're going to have to tell me, do you want to see the second card or do you want me to stop for tonight? Okay, so then we've got that one. We're just going to pull those up a bit with our fingernail. Okay, so now we've got quite a bit of depth on there. And now let's take our thankful, well, let's go ahead and add this to our card. We're going to pop this up on dimensionals. Okay, and I think I'm going to leave that. This will go here. Give me this teeny tiny little piece right here, and we'll put that on our stem at the very bottom, just to give it some lift. Right there. Okay, and we'll take our fingernail and push that in so I can get those off easily. That's another tip. Oh, okay. So, are you guys in a hurry to go? Do you want a second card? Let me know in the comments what you want to do. And no, the second card is not a simple card like it started out to be. Okay, so now let's take our thankful for you, friends. Let's see. Are you guys answering? Am I just missing it? Let's refresh this in case it's just not updating. Nope. No, Tracy, you're right. Simple is not. But I think I've done some of the pre-work on the second one, so I don't think I need to show you everything. We'll see. Just going to cut around this. Turning my paper as I go. And there we go. I wish Stampin' Up! Would just give us dies for all these things. Then I wouldn't have to fussy cut all these sentiments. Okay, there we go. Put it down here, and of course, we need to use some dimensionals. Will be fine. I have a little tiny bit of a dimensional sticking there that this is going to stick to as well. And then we'll just put this down here like this. Okay, and then we have one final thing to do to the front of this card. And that's to take the gold thread right here in front of my face. Grab our bow jig, which also is right here in front of my face. I'll tie a double bow with my gold twisted thread. And yes, I know this is on back order, but it's coming back. I think the week of March 24th is what it says, which is not that far away. If you don't already have it. And let's see, let's put that away so it doesn't roll and unwind. And then we'll take a glue dot and stick that on there. Take my tweezers, scrunch up that glue dot all around that knot. And then we're going to put this right here, kind of at a little jaunty angle because I don't want it to interfere with my sentiment. Floof those up. And there is our card. I did not put any gems on this card because I felt like it had enough going on without adding extra. Okay, so for the inside of the card, I took my 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. I gave it the same treatment that I gave this piece, but I didn't use the stencil. I just left it like that. And then I used the stencil on the front of my envelope so that I would have a very coordinated card. And no, you're not going to make 20 or 30 of these, but for a special family member or friend, this would be perfect. Making sure my words are right side up before I put that down. Okay? Thankful for you, friend. And there you have it. Okay, I hope you like that card. You having connection issues too, Laura? Live video signal keeps going out. That is interesting. Maybe go out and come back in, or I don't know. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to end the live now, and then I'll come right back on if you're interested in doing the second card, and that way they'll be separate, and maybe we can fix those connection issues. Okay? All right, everybody. I will be back in a few minutes with another feed.